All right, let's head to one of my favourite chats with very plain speaking, common sense, and my good friend Alan Jones. We always talk about what Facebook wants to talk about here so that we're not just sitting inside the Canberra bubble, Alan. But I tell you, the only story in town, I've got 120-odd thousand followers. The only thing they want to talk about, regardless of where they are in the country, is how Victoria can get it so wrong and how on earth Daniel Andrews is still in power. People have had enough. People have had enough. What should happen now?
Normally disagree with you, but Victoria haven't got it wrong. There's one bloke who's got it wrong, and this is this bloke Andrews. He should go. And quite frankly, as I'll be saying later tonight, if the Labor Party don't get rid of him, then the electorate have got to get rid of the Labor Party. There is no difference now between Myanmar or Hong Kong and Daniel Andrews. This man just walks in like a military dictator. He cares absolutely nothing about those people who are his victims. And I heard you just make that very, very valid point, Peter, then. Weddings, I saw these women just weeping. I mean, the anxiety, the stress, the sense of isolation, the sense of denial, the sense of disappointment, the financial cost for all of those people who wanted to be married in the Valentine's weekend in all parts of Victoria, which have never seen coronavirus. This man says it won't happen. And as you said, the high-end food, the lobsters, all that's wasted. And there was no talk. It's all very well now responding to the anxiety of people and saying, oh, well, I'll think about compensation. That should have been said at the outset, but he never said it. And 17 cases. Hello? And as a businessman you spoke to there, I mean, if people are now going to have to say, well, what happens? At what number does the joint close down? Is it 10, 11, 12, 13? Today in Australia, there are 14 people in hospital. In Australia, 99.9% of all cases in Australia are mild. This bloke keeps quoting cases. Now, I know everyone, God, if you're going to test 25,000 people, they tested 25,000 yesterday and they got 2 positive cases. And yet the whole of that state, 7 million people being treated like battery hens yet again after 111 days being locked up for 23 hours a day last year. This man has to go. And Victorians, Peter can't do anything, I can't do anything. You're the answer. You're going to have to send them in. This man's no hero. This man hasn't kept you alive. He hasn't saved your life. He's pretended that the Grim Reaper is upon us. He's told lies about the speed with which this virus will spread. And what he said is totally untruthful. And I'll be looking about that tonight. So don't be deluded for one moment that this bloke's kept you alive. He wants you to believe that so that he'll be the big hero. Well, he's pulled the wrong rein here once too often. The man has to go, and the party are going to have to get rid of him because the party is on the nose while this bloke's in charge.
And just on that point, I speak to a number of backbenchers and a couple of cabinet ministers quite regularly in the Andrews government. I'm obviously not going to name who they are. And they keep feeding things in. They keep saying how, difficult he's got it internally. I don't see any sense of that at all because the caucus in Melbourne is keeping this guy in the job. Victorian public can't do anything for another 2 years till he's back on the ballot paper and there's an election. It's a fixed term in Victoria. But the other person, and I was on the phone all weekend to business leaders and small business operators. Anyone who had my number tended to ring me on the weekend. We're all in lockdown. What can we do? But what was really telling this time, Alan, more so than ever before in earlier lockdowns, there is angry now at Scott Morrison and Josh Frydenberg for not having a Royal Commission, for also half apologising, as the PM did on Neil Mitchell on Friday morning, for the potential, we didn't know it was happening then, but the potential of another Victorian lockdown, and for these just colossal mistakes to keep occurring in hotel quarantine. That's the problem the federal government's got. This is now landing at their doorstep too.
Yeah, Peter, 100% correct. And the public are saying one simple thing. If a national government cannot protect us, and that's all of us, because it's a third of the nation's economy, if a national government can't protect us from the incompetence of people like Daniel Andrews, then the national government has to admit it is impotent and powerless. It may also be gutless, but impotent and powerless.
All right. Well, yeah, as I said, you don't miss Alan Jones. Look forward to hearing a bit more at 8 o'clock.
Good. OK. Bye-bye, Peter.